Determined by Robert Sapolsky. A Science of Life Without Free Will. Quote, "The only way humans have survived amid being able to understand the truths about life is by having evolved a robust capacity for self-deception. And this ability for self-deception definitely includes our belief in free will." Let's go! Hi and welcome to the BookLab. I'm Björn and this is the place where we bring you the best book recommendations when it comes to philosophy, psychology, human nature and human potential. Every week, so make sure to subscribe so that whenever I publish a new video, it will pop up in your feed. Today, we're going to talk about Determined by Robert Sapolsky. Robert Sapolsky, he is an American neuroendocrinology researcher. He's also a professor in several subjects from biology, neurology, neurological sciences and neurosurgery at Stanford University. In Determined, he tackles the timeless question of free will, and he lands in the conclusion that it doesn't exist. A quite natural conclusion if you have read his previous book, Behave, the Biology of Humans at Our Best and Worst. This book describes how things that we have absolutely no control over dictates our behaviors on scales from 1 second ago to 1 hour ago, 1 month ago to 100,000 years ago. Robert Sapolsky aims to show us in this book how determinism works and how biology, over which we have no control, and the environment, over which we have no control, made you the one you are. To convince us that free will doesn't exist, we get a crash course in biology in this book. Sapolsky, he also shares some really interesting and often haunting experiments that confirms the findings of biology. And on top of that, he takes all the most reasonable arguments for free will and dissects them, breaks them apart, and shows us how it can't be so. And what Sapolsky concludes is quite drastic. Quote, "Because the world is deterministic, there can't be free will, and thus holding people responsible for their actions is not okay." This view on free will is called the incompatibilist view. Since there is no will, hence we can't take any moral responsibility for our actions. If the idea of not having free will makes you feel uncomfortable, then you're probably one of the lucky ones. You're in the lucky minority. It probably means that you have a job, you probably was brought up in a good neighborhood where you had things to say yes to so you could say no to drugs. You're probably healthy and your mother probably didn't work 2 different jobs while she was pregnant with you. So you might argue that it's not luck. I actually been very dedicated. I've shown a lot of grit. I've worked myself up. I deserve this. And this is also the stance of a person that is not really Robert Sapolsky's favorite in this book, and he admits that. Daniel Dennett, who argued that even if you have some luck in the beginning and you get a head start, life is not a race, but it is a marathon, and that small advantage in the beginning will even out over time. Robert Sapolsky doesn't agree with this. He asks, so if you're born a crack baby, does society then run in and make sure that you have the best possible chances of overcoming your developmental problems? Probably not, right? And this statistic really blew my mind, and it really had me rethink a lot of things. And it's the amazing correlation between childhood experience and luck in life. There is this test that you can do. It's called the ACE test, the ACE test. It stands for Adverse Childhood Experience Index. And for every point that you add to this test, you run a 30% increase in having problems in life, basically. So how lucky was the childhood that you were handed? What's your score? Did you experience any of these 3 things? Abuse, psychological, emotional or sexual, neglect, physical or emotional, or household dysfunction? Do you have an incarcerated relative? Is there mental illness, divorce, substance abuse or violence? For every score, every point you get on this list, you have a 35-ish % increase of adult antisocial behaviors, including violence and poor prefrontal cortex development, Problems with impulse control, substance abuse, teen pregnancy, unsafe sex and other risky behaviors. You also have increased vulnerability to anxiety, depression, and maybe most of all, your life expectancy goes down quite drastically. So Sapolsky says no, luck doesn't even out. If you are born poor, you are likely to stay there. Another interesting question raised by the idea of not having free will is, what will happen to people if we believe that we don't have free will? Will we run amok? And the fact is that we kind of do. Experiments has shown that people who are prompted with ideas of free will not existing, comparing to control groups and other people who are prompted with ideas that free will does exist, the group that doesn't believe in free will have some negative consequences in terms of their morals. They have shown that they show less effort in performing tasks. Free will skeptics also are less helpful. They cheat more. They showcase more antisocial behavior and are more aggressive. They exhibit less gratitude, find less meaning in life, and less belonging. Lessening people's belief in free will also makes them feel that they have a less sense of agency over their life. And with these results in hand, Robert Sapolsky actually asks us readers to burn this book after reading it so that we don't corrupt people's morals. A second interesting question spawned by the conclusion of this book is, how can we then change? How can we adapt to the idea that we don't have free will? How does the piling evidence of lack of free will impact how we treat people that maybe have committed a crime, for instance? And this book actually has some really good examples of how society have moved closer to the idea that free will doesn't exist when it comes to how we treat criminals and people who have mental problems. Quote, "We have done it before over and over in various domains. We have shown that we can subtract out our belief that actions are freely, willfully chosen as we become more knowledgeable, more reflective and more modern. And the roof hasn't caved in. Society can function without our believing that people with epilepsy are in cahoots with Satan, and that mothers of people with schizophrenia cause the disease by hating their child." End quote. Schizophrenia being caused by the mother hating the child is, of course, an idea from Freud. So what's the verdict of this book? Before I go into that, please like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll know when a new video is published. I publish book reviews every week, and every month I provide a breakdown of all the best book releases each month. Back to Determined. Is this a good book? This book is the shit. It provides successful arguments against all aspects of free will, which leaves me in a pickle. I want to believe in human agency. It's comforting, right? And the absence of free will naturally leaves me in a position where I have a lot of brain work to do. I need to update all my values and my political views in order to take this into account. If everyone is just a result of biological chance, environmental circumstances and cultural influences from 1 second ago, 1 week ago, 1 month ago, 10,000 years ago, then who am I to be here on the channel talking about grit, philosophy, how to live the good life, and all the other things that I talk about on this channel? But of course, I will fail to adjust to and live in accordance with this understanding. It's just an all too human thing to do. I will probably still condemn a criminal that commits a heinous crime. I will still be proud of my accomplishments and probably still blame myself for my failures. A book like Determined deserves a place on my great books list, and I'm actually going to replace Behave, which was his previous book, with this one, because this book contains the most important bits from that thick book. It's like 800 pages, and this has even more, and I think this one is even better. I'm adding this one to my great book list. Determined forced me to reevaluate my ideas about human behavior and my political stance. That's what great books do, and this is one of them. I'm still thinking about this book every day, and it's been almost 2 months since I finished it, so that's the sign of a great book. You really need to pick this one up. It's quite complicated at times, but I think it's worth the effort. I listened to it as an audiobook, and I mean, if you join Audible, for instance, you get 1 audiobook for free. I think it's easier to consume these books that can get quite complicated at times as audiobooks, because I can zoom in and out depending on if the part interests me or not. Upcoming reviews. I just finished Think Again. The Power of Knowing What You Don't Know by Adam Grant, my first Adam Grant book. So this review is coming up soon. My next video will be the February releases. I haven't looked at the list, but I was surprised in January how many good books there were. So I have high hopes for February as well. So I'll look through all the releases and just share what's the most interesting new books that comes out. Share with me in the comments what books you're reading. I would love to hear that, because I tend to go in there and pick books and adding to my own reading list. Have a good week. Björn out.